Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Marshfield School Committee meeting for Tuesday, May 10th. Will you please call the roll, Mrs. Pazerski?
Boyd? Stetson? Yes. Greer?
Here. And Mr. Costello is absent. Will you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm not used to this microphone. Since we have so many students here today, can you guys do the Peace Builders Pledge for us? We stand up and do it? I'll do it together? Why don't you start it off right here in front? Go ahead. Great. Okay, awesome. Great job. So we're going to get right to it here. Welcome to South River School, and today we're going to invite Ms. Principal Baird and her team to tell us about the Writers' Workshop.
Thank you all for coming to visit us at South River School. As you can see, we brought some very special guests with us, and thank you parents for letting them come back tonight, and thank you for joining us at school tonight. So Writers' Workshop has been alive and strong at South River School, and some teachers have really taken off with it. So we wanted to sort of share with you some pieces of the workshop, but also what the whole celebration of Writers' Workshop is, and sort of it looks different at different grade levels, and we wanted to share with you a little bit about what it feels like for the students, so that you could actually participate in the celebration. So that's why the students are here. So they're actually going to share their writing with you. So it's pretty exciting. So sort of the four principles of Writers' Workshop. Students, I think the difference of when we grew up writing, teachers told you you are going to write an essay about the fall, and everybody writes an essay about the fall, right? So now with Writers' Workshop, students are writing about their own lives, they're writing up in a consistent way, but they're really writing about things that are important to them, and things of their choosing, but in a consistent process. They're also working in authentic ways, so if you'll notice that they're writing in books, in a booklet form, and they're writing as writers and authors, which is a little bit different than when we grew up always writing on just lined paper. So they're truly authors and writers in their craft, which again is a little bit different, and they really feel empowered to do that. And then over time, they're really developing that independence as a writer, and they're writing a ton. That I think is really the difference with Writers' Workshop, is how many things they are writing. Not everything becomes a published version. They might take one or two of their stories to the published version. Some students here, raise your hand for a second grader. So some of our second graders, they didn't even bring a finished version yet. They're still in, some of these are still in draft because they're still in the middle of their unit, but we wanted to share with you sort of what it looks like, the same nonfiction unit at first grade and second grade. But they will write many nonfiction books, and then they will choose which ones that they want to share at their celebration. So just so you get that idea, they might write 3 to 5, some students might write 10. So that's what they just keep going. So Mrs. Foltz, I think you're sharing the next few. Oopsie.
Okay, so just so you get an idea about what it's like to be a student in a class, if your teacher is teaching Writers' Workshop, here are some key features. So first of all, at each grade level, they're organized by what is called units of study. So the unit might be an opinion unit, writing all about an opinion piece, or the unit might be a persuasive piece, or it might be fiction or nonfiction. And what the teacher does with each lesson in that unit is they teach something very specific or very exact about the unit as a whole. So for example, if the unit is nonfiction, the lesson within the unit one day might be on how to hook a reader when you write a nonfiction piece. So you should know they're organized by a larger unit that's organized at different grade levels, and each lesson is very specific and very exact. The second piece there is more student choice with what the students get to write or what they want to write about than kind of ever before. So within a specific unit, students are really choosing exactly what they want to write about, and because of that, students feel like they have a lot to say about what they want to write about. Teachers really are acting as authors and really showcasing what it looks like to be an author within each unit. So they're really modeling and showing students exactly what it is they're looking for when they go off to do their own independent writing. Takes a lot of hard work and practice on the part of each student. It is a lot of hard work. And again, they have more opportunities to write kind of than ever before. So there's a lot of opportunities for student practice. And finally, again, they're really writing about what matters to them. So that's the student choice piece again that I kind of already spoke about. And then there are some really specific parts of each writer's workshop lesson. So each lesson typically starts with what is called a mini lesson. And we call it a mini lesson because it typically lasts only between maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So it's a short amount of time of very explicit, direct instruction on the part of the teacher. Again, the teacher is acting as an author, giving a very explicit message about what they want their students to practice that day. That's the left side of that pie, that's kind of in orange there. And then you'll notice the biggest piece is in blue, and that's called the independent practice piece. That can be up to 45 minutes of students, again, working really hard, but having a ton of opportunity to practice their writing. And it doesn't mean that they're writing independently the whole time. It means that also gives the teacher opportunity to pull small groups of students to work directly with a small group on whatever it is that they want those students to learn, or sometimes even one-on-one with a student. So while students are practicing independently their writing, teachers are working really hard conferencing with individual students and giving direct instruction to individual students or small groups. Finally, one of the most important pieces, a very small part, about 5 to 10 minutes, students are sharing out. So at the end of the lesson, to wrap up, students are hearing from other students what they learned during the writer's workshop lesson and kind of wrapping up the lesson for the day.
So this is some voices of our students who are not here with us tonight, about sort of why they love writer's workshop. So it's super fast.
Looking for something. Okay. I like writing essays. I don't really write about essays. Those are more tricky. I like publishing it, and I like the cover. I like showing my work to other people.
My favorite thing about writing workshop is I like to think of my own. Sometimes if it's fiction, I like writing because my mind can go different places. I like reading and then learning about it because it's cool. I like that writer's workshop that we habitats. So we're doing habitats, so it's non-fiction, so it's real. My favorite part is you
be like major, like, you just like, think like everything you did, like,
Right, so we have tonight with us. So, Mrs. Lawrence, I think you're up first. So we have Mrs. Lawrence and Mrs. Fiorentino. So Mrs. Lawrence is a first grade teacher. So first graders, give us a wave. Yep, we have 2 first graders with us tonight. And then we have students from Mrs. Loeb's class. And unfortunately, she was sick tonight, so she can't make it. So Mrs. Fiorentino is going to share a little bit about her unit. And then Mrs. Fiorentino will share about the 4th grade unit. So just a little overview, sort of a quick, just so you know what the students learned in their unit. So when you sort of give them, do I need that? Sure.
So, first grade, I'm just amazed at what they can do right now. We started out and I've saved their collection of writing, and it's an amazing collection to see from day one to where they are. And even in this unit that we started, we were just figuring this out. We started in about March, and they wrote these little books all about something that they are an expert at. And we did guide them with the first one to choose an animal, because we knew we were we're going to the zoo on Friday, fingers crossed. So we knew we wanted to lead up to that and give them some background information. So they all started with an animal, maybe one thing on a page. Each page was one different part about an animal. And now, as you'll be able to go and look and see, they actually have chapter books that they've written. And each lesson and each piece that we added in, they go back to the old books and add them into the old books. And oh, I want to try that here and I want to try that there. There was never really an end, because there was always another layer that we could add to each book. So where they are right now, even in 6 weeks or 8 weeks since we started this unit, has been so much learning and so incredible to be a part of. One of the things that as teachers we've discovered that's really important is to write with them. So we're always doing a group class book along with the independent books that they're writing, so that we can feel what it feels like and we hit the same pitfalls that they do. So I'm writing a book about yellow labs while Chloe's writing about elephants, and we come to like a place where, oh, I forgot that part about what they eat. That's really important information. How do we add that in? So we are writing with them, and they're helping me fix my writing along the way, which is what's embedded to every lesson. So it's usually them helping me become a better writer, because they're helping me. It's not me teaching them all the time. It's us discovering together ways to make this writing longer and stronger and add more information in. And I think the 2nd grade unit, just looking ahead with these guys sitting at the table, who I know some of from last year, it seems like they take that piece to the next level, which Mrs. Fiorentino will talk about. But this unit, we really had a lot of learning about how to teach someone what we are an expert at, and how to teach them all the information that they need to know about it. We learned about twin sentences and triple sentences and quadruple, how to make things longer and stronger so that more information, using details and pictures that communicate new information. Maps was a big piece in 1st grade that some kids really love, drawing maps to show where their creatures or where their topic lives. Those are like the key pieces of the 1st grade nonfiction unit, and what it's turned into are these incredible books, which we took it a little bit further, and if anybody gets a chance, we took it to the technology level, and they each chose one of their favorite nonfiction books in the end to put on Book Reader. So you'll get to see the next level of that too. I think that's
Great, thank you, Mrs. Fiorentino. Mrs. Loeb,
I feel good talking about what Mrs. Lopes would say, because we worked together for about 13 years, I think. But I did get extensive notes from her from home today, so I don't mess up. Mrs. Lopes really wanted to say that a lot of what they do is connect reading and writing together. That it's really important for them to learn as readers what they love and why they love those things, and then bring that forward in their writing. They started their process by talking about what they would want to know for a topic they're interested in, so they generated lists of questions, and that's what asking and answering is. And they tried to come up with answers to those questions, and those answers became parts of their stories that they wrote. Another extension you'll see is they're working on a table of contents, but theirs is different from first grade because they're not just having a table of contents, but they're trying to make it catchy. So they're taking an idea and building on it, which is a really common theme, and then hooking the reader with an interesting lead. So I know that a lot of the work I read today with the second graders, they didn't all have a hook because they're revising right now or they're in their draft. So some of them might even say to you, I don't have that yet. I haven't worked on that yet. But we don't let that slow us down as writers. We just go. So let's see. Check, I got everything. All right, I did it. I did a good job. All right, she'd be proud. When we go into, is this live? No. All right. Okay. And then in fourth grade, some of those same themes continue. So fourth graders are writing their first real 5-paragraph essays, which is a huge undertaking, right guys? It's a big deal. And one of the first things we work on is coming up with a topic we feel passionately about because we're giving our opinion, but then starting to develop some reasons. And those reasons feed into our first thesis statement, right? That was a big thing to learn this year. So how to craft a thesis statement, how to use it to organize the body paragraphs that come afterwards. So there's a lot of structure that we address in fourth grade. We also write a HOT introduction. I know. That HOT actually stands for a hook, and then we have some overview sentences, and then T for thesis. So it's just a little way for us to remember all the parts that we need in an introduction. Transition phrases are another big focus because we're moving between ideas and reasons, and we're also giving multiple examples. So we need to be able to help our reader know where they are by introducing new reasons, by giving additional examples. So we work a lot on those. And then evidence is the big one. So instead of just having our own ideas in our opinion essays, we might have text evidence from a story, we might do some research, we might survey our friends and ask them their opinions and include survey data. So we have all different kinds of evidence, and you'll see some of those things, some micro stories. Who has micro stories over there? Little teeny tiny stories from our own lives that serve as evidence in our writing. So you can see that they're bringing lots of their own thinking into their writing, which is great. So they're doing awesome.
Thank you.
All right, so Mrs. Foltz, do you want to just quickly click through the sort of the celebrations that have been going on around South River, and I'll sort of just talk it through, just kind of move a little faster. So when it's time for a celebration, it's typically towards the end of the unit, and they can be very simple things. They might just share their writing in the classroom. Sometimes teachers will invite us. They'll invite the custodian. They might invite fifth graders to come. They might invite parents to come. And usually over time, the celebrations get more and more elaborate. You'll see this carpet here, red carpet. We did have to invest in a red carpet because many classrooms were using red carpet, so that became very important for us. But they become, it really is to celebrate their writing and the children as an author. And the biggest piece is that the students receive some sort of feedback in the celebration. So you will notice you have little yellow sticky notes. So what will happen after I introduce the stars of the show, we would ask when you visit a student, so typically you would sit at a table and each child would have a chance to read, but just in the interest of time, the students have selected a piece of their writing to share, and because there's a lot of you and a lot of them, you could probably just go individually to a student and they'll read their piece. And if you have a question for them, there are questions there that you can ask them about. And then if you want to leave them a little compliment or a note, you can leave them a sticky note or a smiley face, any of that. So sometimes they'll leave each other stickers. Oh, Mrs. Welch, you want to click through those pictures just so they can see the different types of celebrations. But this was one with the red carpet. The kids are coming in. All right, keep clicking. All right, this is another one in third grade. So this one, they gave each other stars. So every time they read their story, they gave each other stars. You can see we were all invited to this one. Second grade, they posted theirs on the wall, and then we all had stickers to share, and we were voting for different categories. So the students could put their stickers on which ones they felt like met these best award categories. And then in 4th grade, they were using these compliment card checklists to give each other at their celebration. So there's all different ways to go about this. But now to the best part. All right, are we ready?
No.
Maggie, you can do it. All right, here we go. Introducing Mateo Coro. Come on up, Mateo, off the red carpet. Give him a wave. Remember, you're gonna walk in. Awesome. All right, Chloe Chase. Maggie Kavanaugh. Theodore Reed. Evan Freeman. Luke Whitaker. Carson Oliver. Colby Hannafin. Brian Short. Colby Costello. CJ Hatton. Aaron Costello. And Vivian Pina. All right. So special guests, I would invite you to go visit our authors and bring your sticky notes and a pen so you can leave a little note.
So students, if you want to open up to your part, so you're ready to read the part.
What about yours?
This is not favorite. This is number
Great job, that's amazing.
All right, maybe we'll give everybody 1 more minute to finish up their notes. They're working, they're working. All right, students, if you, thank you so much for coming tonight. This was really special that you came to school at night and shared your very special writing. So thank you to all of you. We are very proud of you. We'll collect it and get it to your, especially Mrs. Lowe's kids. We'll make sure she gets it back because I think she's holding on to that for you. So if you want to walk to your parents, you're free to go. Of course, if you would like to stay and support the school committee meeting, you're welcome to. Thank you guys.
Son?
Okay, I got it that time. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on here. That was awesome. Thank you guys so much. That's amazing. I always love when the students come and share their work. It's really great. Thank you for sharing that with us. We are now gonna move on to our informational portion of the meeting. Superintendent Granatita?
All right, I just have a few things. I want to first off, I sent out a part of the newsletter last week telling folks about the wonderful generosity of the MEF, but just one more time, while the cameras are here, I want to thank the MEF, the Marshfield Education Foundation, for $80,200 worth of grants that went to 9 different groups of staff across the district. We had their celebration last week, and it was just a wonderful day, and again, just a continuation of amazing support by the MEF. They topped the $1 million mark, so over the last 11 years, I believe it is now, they've given over $1 million towards grants that promote imagination, creativity, innovation in the classroom. And it's just, we've been able to do so much with their support, so we can never thank them enough. Another group that's going to be celebrated in a few weeks coming up are the MHS Pops, our musical groups at the high school are all going to be performing at their annual Pops concert, which is a special night. It's a Saturday the 21st. And I'll do one more preview of an event. Hopefully I'm not stealing too much of your thunder, ladies, but the high school also had their presentations of Freaky Friday. Their showings last weekend, but also this weekend, this Friday and Saturday, you can still get there. There's a matinee show on Saturday as well, which is always a big thing. One other big event coming up just for 2 nights is the Cops for Kids with Cancer, which is the annual fundraiser that the Marshfield Police and police from all around the state come together to raise funds for those families that have been impacted by pediatric cancer. And it's a special, special evening. I'm sure Haddad's will be filled to the gills with folks there. So it's a wonderful evening. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, please try to stop by. And then next Wednesday, we'll be putting on a presentation at the middle school called Not My Kids. We've done this before about 5-6 years ago. It's put on by an SRO, school resource officer, who worked with me in Canton, and the school resource officer from Brockton, who presented around the state on this drug awareness program. It's a nationally acclaimed program that talks to parents about what to look for, signs that they may want to be keeping an eye out for, and if they find out that things are going on, steps that they can take. It's a really informative evening. I know when we had it about 5 years ago, folks walked out of there saying it was one of the best presentations they've had on that topic. And there's a lot of different types of presentations, and they're all great. But this is one that we feel is really good and informative. It's geared towards middle school parents, but any parent can go, so it's open to the public. And another big event coming up in a few weeks at the high school is the launch day. It's one of my favorite days at the marine fabrication course. All the boats and canoes and kayaks, and even 2 years ago we had a paddleboard that I tried out. They all get launched on the 27th down the harbor at 10 a.m.
Did you fall off?
No, did not fall off. I almost did, believe me. It had not been. It had not been waxed, and those of you that have been on the board, if it's not waxed, it's very, very slippery, very slippery. And I had to grip it with my toes as tight as I could to make sure I didn't fall, because that would have been very funny. And then I just want to take one quick second, and again, we had a brief meeting before the town meeting. I didn't get a chance to really speak in front of the camera, but I want to thank all the folks that sent notes of support and lots of different things over the last few weeks after the procedure I had. I do want to let you know I am going to be out again for a few more weeks because I have one more procedure to do next week. But it's all good. They feel confident. But I just want to, again, thank the community, our teachers, students. We had students from schools all over the district sending cards upon cards upon cards, and still reading through some of them. But it was pretty awesome, and helped me get through a tough time. So thank you, and I will be out for a few weeks, but then I'll be back, hopefully around graduation time.
Great. Thank you so much. Mrs. Clara, do you have an update?
I just have two, can you hear me? I just have 2 presentations I just want to make people aware of. So for the next 2 Monday nights, so Monday, May 16th, we'll be having a presentation at the South Ventures building in the auditorium titled How to Talk to Your Kids and Survive. And I'll just read the little blurb. So raising a child is probably the most gratifying job any of us will ever have, and one of the toughest in large part that's because times have changed. We live in an increasingly complex world that challenges us every day with a wide range of issues that are difficult for children to understand and for adults to explain. Our kids are part of the iGen or Gen Z generation, the generation born with smartphones and tablets. Let's talk about how we can talk to our kids and survive. So that will be face-to-face at the Seth Ventures Building, 6:30 on next Monday. An announcement went out to the whole district today, and it will be in the newsletters this week. And then the following Monday, there'll be a Zoom presentation, the language of behaviors, so understanding challenging behaviors. And the write-up for that is, how do we evaluate what a child's behavior is trying to communicate? Behavior is a form of communication which is especially important when a child has limited means of expressing themselves or has neither the developmental level or psychological capacities to tell us how they're doing and how we're doing with them. This workshop develops the ability to appreciate and understand the behavioral relevance and messaging of children. So both of these events are open to anyone in the district, staff or families, and they will be publicized in the superintendent's email and the school emails and a separate email that went out tonight. So that's all.
Great, thank you so much. Mr. Miller?
Just one item here of information. We do have the preschool location change, which we'll talk about, which is moving students from Martinson Elementary to free up some space at Martinson. I know the committee is aware of this process that has been going on, but we want to publicly announce that with the rising enrollment at Martinson and the declining enrollment at our 4 elementary schools, we've begun the process of transitioning students from the Martinson area. There's also the potential development, further development up behind Roach Brothers that's also in Martinson's district. We've begun a very slow process of transitioning the school boundary between Martinson and Amesway School. Right now the boundary is Route 3A. Starting next school year, only with incoming kindergarten students that do not have older siblings. So we are being very cognizant of not moving any students already attending Martinson, any families that are already invested in Martinson. So just starting with that group, which is 7 students at this time, we're going to have them transition and attend Amesway Elementary School next school year. The area that will be transitioning is the Spring Highland Loop, and along with the Forest Pine Loop. I'm not going to get into all the details. There's a number of streets in that area, but we'll be putting them up on our elementary enrollment page. And again, there's currently about 50 students that live in that area, but right now it's just those 7 students that are attending, that are scheduled to be attending Martinson next year will now be going to Amesway School. I called all 7 families today. I spoke with 4 of the 7. I left a message for 3. Those 4 were completely understanding and okay with the process. So far we're 4 for 4. And right now, kindergarten enrollment at Martinson is at 6970, with potentially more students coming in over the summer, while Amesway is at 28. So these 7 students would move Amesway to 35, which would make classes of 18 and 17, which is perfect. Martinson from 70 to 63, with potentially more students coming in. Right now they're scheduled for 4 classrooms. But more importantly, what it also does is, as we get into the older grades, where we go up to that 20 to 25 range, Martinson potentially could be 3 classrooms instead of 4 classrooms, where we've been trending in the mid-85 range. So we've begun that process of controlling the enrollment there, just being proactive, and really not disrupting the communities that Martinson has built. With this transition, we'll be doubling up the bus coverage on those 2 loops. So there'll be a bus that takes the students still attending Martinson. There'll be a bus taking those 7 students to Amesway. There'll be more students on there. They'll be coming from the Amesway area, picking up those students. But But with that bus coverage, we will also be extending the opportunity to any Martinson students in that area that currently are K through 4, or any incoming kindergartners that do have older siblings, the opportunity, if they so choose, to attend Ainsway. Ainsway's enrollment can certainly handle a few more students at each grade level to transition from Martinson to Ainsway. It's only if they so choose, information going out to those families, if not tomorrow, certainly before the end of the week. So we started that process, and again, it'll be a slow process, but over time, it should be best for both schools.
Great, thank you. Did you guys have any questions? No? Okay, great. Thanks so much. All right, any subcommittee reports? Sean? I can pass this down.
Just quickly, the Pilgrim Area Collaborative, currently we're acting as a board of 7 instead of 9. 2 of our members, one opted not to run for re-election, one was elected out. So we're waiting for those positions to be filled. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
All right, I'm going to skip around a little bit here and do our student representative report. I can pass you guys my microphone if you'd like.
So at Furnace Brook, there was the We Are Marshfield Day with some of the MHS members went to FBMS to help out with some of the teachers. Conferences happened on the 4th. The 7th grade Club 7 is coming up on the 13th. And then we have MCAS for all the schools, but for FBMS, it's math on the 11th and the 12th, and STEM on the 17th and the 18th. At Governor Winslow, conferences are tomorrow, the 11th, and again, we have MCAS dates, math May 9th and May 10th, and STEM on May 12th and May 17th for the 5th graders. There's also for SRS, there is May 11th for parent-teacher conferences. May 18th is the PTO fundraiser at Remix Nutrition. May 16th through the 20th is the Scholastic Book Fair, and again with MCAS, math for grades 3, 4, and 5. For grade 3, it's May 9th through the 10th. Grade 4 is the 5th through the 6th. For grade 5, it's the 2nd through the 3rd, and the science for grade 5 is May 12th and 17th.
I just have Freaky Friday has a show on the 14th, one at 1 and then one at 8. And then we had We Are Marshfield Day, which was last Friday, which was also High Five Friday.
At Martinson, they're having parent-teacher conferences and further enrichment programs are continuing, and throughout all schools, elementary schools, they're wrapping up the year with a lot of field trips. At Daniel Webster and Amesway, they're also continuing their MCAS and parent-teacher conferences.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, we're getting our exercise tonight. All right. So next, I'm going to call for public participation. Do we have anybody in the public that would like to speak tonight? Is that a no? No, Mr. Kelly? No. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, public participation is now closed. Our NEA update.
Thank you very much. Is my voice carrying? Like it never doesn't, right? First of all, I want to thank South River for a lovely explanation of the writing workshop, and it's really exciting as a grandmother to try to get a better handle on how things have changed so much and how exciting it is. And I'm sorry the kids aren't here because they're really the fun part of that. But thank you so much for sharing that with us. I also want to congratulate and welcome back, not that you ever left, Ms. Brait and Mr. Greer. And I want to thank Mr. Kelly and all of those who run for public office for being willing to serve, because it's very important that the community's voices are heard. And why anybody runs for a position that pays so much money, for those who don't know, our school committees get zero. But they get a lot of love and a lot of appreciation. So congratulations on your victories. And congratulations, Mr. Kelly, on being willing to serve. We are, hard to believe, but we are rapidly heading towards the end of the school year. And anytime you hear the word MCAS, final exams, graduation, we know we're on a rapid sleigh ride down to the end of the year. And I just want to thank our parents for supporting our children, and want to remind you that your attitude towards MCAS is really going to impact on how your children respond to it. I have a second grader, a grandchild. I don't have a second grader anymore. I was like, oh, you have MCAS next week. And he says, no, I don't, Nana. I'm not old enough yet, but I get to take them next year. And other than wondering if somebody had knocked him on the head, that he thinks taking MCAS is something to be enthusiastic about, I was really surprised that he's seeing that as a rite of passage and something that's showing that he's going to be a big boy because he's going to get to take MCAS. And I really think that's the way we should all approach it, that it's an opportunity for our children to learn how much they've grown and where they're moving forward. So thank you, parents. Stay calm. It's not the end of the world, and our kids will stay calm, and they'll face it with the same enthusiasm they face everything else in life. I am really thrilled to have Jeff, even though he's only making a brief reappearance for a while. But I also wanted to thank and congratulate him and the team that he has pulled together administratively and support staff that has kept this district on an even keel through all the changes we've gone through, not just in the past couple of months, but the past couple of years. And I think his strength and his example as a leader has gone far to make sure that we are able to function for short periods without him. And I want to make sure I thank his team and thank him for being the leaders that they are for the district. And another thank you to the parents. This last week and this week we've been celebrating educators. And I know many of our PTOs have presented or given our staff, our teachers, our secretaries some lovely gifts, usually in the form of food. But it's even more than that. It's the acknowledgement and the appreciation that our parents share with us day in, day out that makes this job a very hard job, makes it something that worthwhile and to come into besides just the kids, which is really the important reason we're here. But it's nice, everybody knows it's nice to be acknowledged. So thank you to all those parents who have been so supportive, and it's going to be a great end of the year. We're going to get there, and we're going to have finally another graduation that's just going to be wonderful and a great celebration of all the time we invest in our children. So thank you very much, and I hope you all have a lovely week.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to try to turn this off. Does he get it?
Okay, great. Can you guys all hear me? I think I'm just maybe gonna try not to use the microphone. I'm gonna move around a little bit more. I'm gonna ask our world language teachers to come up and present for the trips.
I'm not familiar with the format. Where should we sit?
Oh, just grab some of these chairs right here. It's fine. Or if you want to stand, whatever. Yeah, whatever you're comfortable with is fine with us. Yeah, whatever you want.
So, I did bring some extra hard copies if you didn't get the old record. There were a couple of updates. But I'll refer to those as we go. A model in the World Language Department at Marshfield People Forum was to be report.
Oh, can the camera hear? Excuse me. The camera maybe can't hear you without the microphone. That's the only thing. Sorry about that. I'm going to pass you. Jody, can you maybe pass on that? Thanks.
I'm Karen Lehman, and a French teacher at Marshfield High School.
So I'm sure you all can remember a couple of years ago, we were back here. It was probably one of the worst school committee meetings, and we had to deal with canceling trips. And I think it took a lot of all of us. I think at that point I said I'm never traveling again, but here we are. We have been talking a lot about this. We've missed traveling with the kids. Karen and I are both believers in the exchange experience, but don't feel comfortable going forward with that at this point because it does involve 2 homestays and 2 sets of kids going into 2 countries with COVID tests and COVID risks and that sort of thing. So we're here tonight to propose a more traditional tour. Karen's to Montreal and mine to Latin America. Mine's going to have a slight adjustment that I'll talk about. The proposal that you see for the Spanish trip says Costa Rica, which I am proposing. It's a 7 to 8 day trip with all kinds of wonderful activities for kids. The other trip that's on there that I added on is one to Peru, similar price, similar travel time. The reason I'm putting 2 forth is prior to us coming here, we normally talk about trips with the kids, and we haven't done that because we weren't sure where you stood on this. So I'd really like to be able to go back to the kids and say, these are 2 very different trips, going to Machu Picchu and Costa Rica. Like, what's your preference? And then work from there. And then if we have to come back for a second, we do that. But that's why. We really have not talked to students about this and didn't want to. They've been asking us a lot about traveling, and we just, didn't want to really get anything started. So that's my trip. Karen's trip is very exciting. Oh, the difference is too, we're looking at February as opposed to April. Seems to be less complications with sports and activities and that sort of thing. So that would be a difference for us as well. February 2023. Karen, let's open your trip.
So I would be looking to take students up to Quebec. We would be staying based in Quebec City. Most of the time it would be a 5-day trip, and then we would take 1 day to go down and visit Montreal. So I have, a while back, I have done a similar trip to this, and the kids loved it. It is in February, it's going to be nice and cold. There's a lot of outdoorsy things that we'll do, like ice skating and dog sledding. But we'll take a visit of the old Quebec City, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and visit basilicas and the falls. And it sounds like a wonderful trip, and I have done it in the past and have really enjoyed it. The kids loved it. So yeah, it's a bus trip. There's no planes involved on this, and I think it's a great opportunity for students to see how close the French-speaking world is to them. It's a drive away, and it's our our second largest trading partner of the United States, and it's just so close. So yeah, I'd really love to do this, and it's reasonably priced at $1,400. And yeah, so I hope you.
Other thing that is in a separate document to the trip proposals, the company that we work with, Promotour/Forum, has prepared all kinds of documents with frequently asked questions regarding cancellations, vaccinations, if a student tests positive prior to leaving while they're there. I think they've been pretty thorough about that. The insurance companies, which last time used to be a 1-page insurance policy, is now a 20-page insurance policy, and that's in there also. So I think these companies have responded to the insurance issues, and are also making insurance mandatory, which I think is a really good idea. Not just the basic insurance, but the extra insurance, like cancel for any reason. So, and that's, as we found out, is pretty important. So, what questions do you have for us?
Oh, no, it's on now. Okay, this is like a magic show tonight. Sorry. Okay, so even though the trip to Peru says April, it would be February as well?
February. That's just a proposal that they
Right,
sent.
okay. Yep.
Yeah, they would both, all of these trips are proposing to be February of 2023 and staying within the vacation week.
Right, okay. So I do see that this here, that this is a first read regardless. So you guys are coming to talk to us about this, and then you'll come back when plans are set in stone. Is that what the plan is? Or?
I think typically the first read, the second read is just for the approving the concept of travel.
Of traveling, okay.
And then I think the Canada trip is pretty set in stone.
Okay.
And it's just a matter of once the word gets out to the high school students that a trip will be approved, it has been approved for either Peru or Costa Rica, it's just going to be kind of gathering interest from the students.
Okay.
And then when they have that finalized, they will bring that back just because we want to have that specific details.
Okay, so we don't have to do another presentation, but just, yeah, okay. All right, I understand. I know you have some questions.
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions. So, one of the concerns is the trips may not be available to everyone, right, due to vaccination status.
Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So, I'm on board with getting kids to travel. I guess my issue is Justin Trudeau. But, so, as far as going to Peru, vaccines, the ones you get down there, Hep A, Hep B, yellow fever, dengue, the list goes on and on and on, right?
I actually can't necessarily agree with that, but the company Promotor and Forum, it's mandatory that students vaccinate to travel, to leave this country with them.
But is that only COVID? Because I read through all the literature, and the only place that shows up is in the Q&A portion that they were.
A COVID vaccine is not mandatory.
Yeah. Okay. Are there other companies that do this?
I'm sure there are.
Okay.
This is the one we've traveled with for the past 24 years.
Yep.
Without issue, so we trust them.
All right. I'll leave it at that. I'm in favor of improving the trip, but I just would make myself vaccine.
I understand. Bridget or Kendra, do you guys have any comments or questions?
No questions. I'm just excited to see our students be able to do this again. I know it's something that they've missed, and I'm sure we must have missed it.
Let's hope so. I think we all learn, like, maybe it won't happen.
Right.
That's the new reality. Is
Right.
We just couldn't believe it last time.
Right.
We know now things get canceled, so.
I know, that was a tough one.
Yep.
Okay.
Just one other question. Do you have to be a current student in the language in order to be eligible for the trip?
So what we've done in the past, and we'd like to continue, is that they have to have completed their foreign language requirement, 2 years in the language. You don't have to currently do it. And usually do a moderate system. So we'd like to continue that.
Okay. So we're not voting tonight, we're just...
Unless the committee feels like
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, I can vote, I'm fine with that. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the Quebec trip and both choices. I'll leave it up to you.
And we're coming back to you with what the final decision is.
Yeah, we just want to know what that is, but
Of course, yeah.
if the rest of the group is okay with it, the motion includes approving the trip to Central or South America.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
That's joining.
Hopefully you'll be able to go, and it will be great.
I think you have to take an hour with him, but that was
I'm fine. Okay. All right, Mr. Miller, I think that this new business preschool location change is also yours? Or is that Mr. Granatino? You guys can do it together? Okay.
I'm working with it. Again, this is, much like the discussion that Tom had in his comments regarding the situation at Martinson, I think everyone's aware of it. And Martinson, I mean, all of our schools have top-notch programs, but over the years, Martinson has housed not only the traditional K-5 population, we run our ASD sub-separate program predominantly out of that school. And we've had preschool. As you know, we've had two schools, kind of the south side of town and the north side of town, to cover all the families at the Daniel Webster School and the Martinson Elementary School. And a couple of years in there, we had Governor Winslow as well, and we had some larger sizes. But we've just been looking at the strain on the facilities, on the resources, on the staffing at the Martinson, and we've been talking as a leadership team for a while now about, does it make sense to look at a new home for the preschool that's been running out of Martinson. And talked to all the principals. Bill Campia, principal at Ames Way, stepped right up and said that his school, with their numbers and their space, had the ability to run the program without missing a beat. And I think to be able to, that's 65 to 75 students that are going to the Martinson right now. They would simply just travel a few miles up the road to Ames Way. That would free up some classroom space that we do need. We're going to be adding a couple classes at the Martinson this year because of their numbers in K-5 range. So that'll free up a little bit more classroom space for them. And we felt strongly that it was good for the Martinson, it was good for Ames Way, it's good for the district. Courtney Coots, who's not here tonight, but our early childhood coordinator, is fully in favor of this shift. And it's really not a big shift. I mean, those folks that have been coming predominantly from that north side of town are just going to be going to Ames Way instead of Martinson, and they'll be getting the same resources and the same programming at the Ames Way as they would at the Martinson. So we'd like to move the program there, and I wanted to bring it here because this is a bit more of a substantive change than just moving 6 or 7 students around. So that's it in a short and sweet fashion.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
No questions, just a comment that I think this is a great idea. As Martinson parents.
They can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
We'll pass it.
No questions, just a comment. I think this is a really great idea to alleviate some of the crowding at Martinson. I'm a Martinson mom, so I see all the time, how our numbers are going up, and it's a little tight. So I think this is a great idea.
Agreed. And I just one question or 2 questions actually. Would this be considered a more a permanent move then? So in subsequent years, we could continue to keep the preschool at Ames Way instead of Martinson, not just a 1 year?
Yeah, no, this is our plan moving forward. As we've spoken about in previous meetings here, that we might look to the Alamo next door here and see if we can work towards refurbishing that and turn that back to the school. If so, that might, ideally best suit the need of a district-wide early childhood center. But until that point in time, the plan would be to keep them at Ames Way and at Daniel Webster School and not shift them back to Martinson.
Yeah. And then my second question is looking ahead in future years, do we have a way of gauging and kind of keeping a sense of what future years might be looking like as kids are coming in?
Yeah, I mean, we have the NASDAQ numbers that come out every year, and that's almost like a actuarial type study of our community. But we also have some of those entities that crop up, during the other complexes that are being built, and they become the new reality. And we do have to address that. I don't have the exact numbers. They keep Tom in the loop on that as best they can from the town side, and I think eventually, we are going to have to probably have a bit more of a meaty discussion on a more permanent, thorough shift of some numbers, because if these developments keep on coming up, especially in the Martinson area, there's only so much space that we have to work with in the Martinson, and so it might not have to be as dramatic as you folks went through 7, 8, 9 years ago when we had to kind of redistrict almost every school. But I think that there's going to have to be some accommodation made in the next couple of years to the situation around the Martinson. Anything I leave out there, Mr. Miller? Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to relocate the preschool from Martinson to Ames Way.
All in favor?
And Ms. Destiny said that it was a great idea. All good ideas usually happen when I'm not around. This is more of the thinking and brainstorming of Ms. Scalaro and Ms. Coots and Mr. Miller, and they've been working on this for a little while. It makes sense for everybody. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Moving on to our school district physician.
Okay, Dr. Irons has been great. He's been with us now for, I think this is year number 3. In 2 of those 3 years, he's been in the middle of all things COVID, and it's been a great resource to have. He wants to stay on board as our school physician. I don't know why, but he does, and he has practices here in the area, but he does enjoy helping out the schools, working with Jane Landry and her nursing team, and he's just a a good voice of reason. Even though he's a doctor, he's not afraid to speak his mind, even if it might be against common trends. But he's someone that I believe in. I know he gives a lot of advice to the Board of Health here in town and works with the town side. But he's been great with us and wants to continue helping us as best he can. So I'd like to have him stay on board and renew his contract. We do this on an annual basis. And Mr. Miller, I think the question always gets asked up, his salary, and that's not changing, and it's somewhere, is it $8,000 for the year in that range, but there'll be no change to that.
Thank you. Any committee members have any questions or comments?
Motion to approve David Irons as the district physician for Marshfield Public Schools for the 2022-2023 academic year.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to school committee representatives to local collaboratives.
So as you know, we're part of two collaboratives, Plymouth Area Collaborative and the South Shore Educational Collaborative. The South Shore Educational Collaborative, based over Hingham on Abington Street there, their board of directors is made up of the superintendents of the member schools, so I've been serving on that collaborative since I came on board here. But the PAC, the PAC, does have a school committee representative from each of the communities. It sounds like they're down to, you said?
Temporarily.
Temporarily.
Until they.
Oh, okay. So we do have one representative from our school committee that has sat on the PAC board for a while, and she's done a fantastic job. And I see Ms. Boyd kind of.
I think she wants to go back.
Motion to nominate candidate.
All in favor? All right, look at that. Oh, and Jeff for the other one. All in favor? Okay, great. Thank you very much for doing that for us. Okay, let's move on to private music lesson rate.
Oh, there we go. This is brought forward by Director of Music Dave Kaminsky. Our current private music lesson rate is $24 per half hour. He's requesting to just move it up $1 to $25 per half hour for next school year. It's been $24 per half hour since 2018. The rate we charge is turned around right to the teachers that teach the lessons. So this is just strictly for lack of a better term, a salary increase for our private music teachers. We took a look at surrounding communities. Some are $30 per half hour, so we're still keeping it below our neighbors. And then lastly, I was asked a question that students that are in need of financial assistance do receive assistance from the Marshfield Friends of Music as well. So this would just be a recommendation to vote to increase the private music lesson rate from $24 per half hour to $25 per half hour for next year.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, motion to increase from $24 to $25 per half hour for music lessons.
All in favor? Aye. Great, thank you very much. Moving right along here. Okay, next up is the school committee reorganization discussion. Every year we all sit on various subcommittees. You all have, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to review this or whatnot, but did you want to say something?
Yeah, just want to say something.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So, a while back, Sean, Jeff, and I had authored our policy BDA, which requires us to reorg the first meeting after the election. None of the members have changed, and to keep the continuity of what we have going, I'd like to make a motion to table reorganization until after the school year. Yeah, it's a policy thing. So.
Second? Okay, all in favor? So after the school year, we'll revisit that. So if you guys could just take a look at this and see, like if you would like to stay on your current subcommittees, you don't have to let me know now, but whenever you have a chance to review that, thank you very much. And we have an acceptance of a donation, it looks like here.
Yes, Synovium Pharmaceuticals was kind enough to leave with us probably about 100 different flip charts that we were able to spread out around the schools, along with all the markers that go along with it. So it was a very nice generous donation from them, and I just want to have the board accept that donation.
Motion to accept the donation of flip charts from...
So moved.
All in favor? Good. All right, so we have a couple sets of minutes here, just to turn the phone up. Okay, so we have a couple sets of minutes here. First, we're gonna do April 5th. Chris laughing at me? Oh, wait,
Taking the mic, walk around.
Yes, I can do that, if that's the will of the committee. Next time, I will do
Just
that.
like hold the mic.
Yeah.
Capture.
That would be great. Oh. Okay, so April 5th here. Let's just take a look at that.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 5th, 2022.
Second. All in favor? Abstain? Perfect. Let's move on to April 25th.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 25th, 2022.
Second. All in favor? Got that, Mrs. Pizarski? Great. Okay, where are we here? Oh, it looks like we have an executive session today. Okay.
Briefly.
Yep, okay.
Motion to adjourn to executive session, not to return.
Second.
All in favor?
Let's roll
Oh,
call.
roll call.
Ms. White? Ms. Stetson? Yes. Mr. Breer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.